A small diner, one man waiting nervously. He carried only $5 in his pocket. It was all he could afford for this blind date. But across the room, at another table, sat a woman, a single mother, a chief executive officer. She noticed everything. What unfolded that night would leave an impact far beyond one simple meal. This is the story of how a chance meeting revealed the power of dignity, struggle, and human connection. The man was in his late 20s. He had recently lost his job. Now he worked temporary shifts, barely covering rent and food. Despite his struggles, he longed for companionship. Friends encouraged him to meet someone new. They arranged a blind date at this diner. He agreed, though money was tight. That evening, he walked in with only $5 in his pocket. It was all he had to spend. At another booth sat a woman in her mid-30s. She was a single mother of 2. She also carried the responsibility of running a company. As a chief executive officer, she lived a life of constant decisions and heavy pressure. Her financial security did not erase the challenges of raising children alone. She had come for a quiet meal, unaware she would soon witness something that would stay with her. The man's date arrived. She greeted him warmly and they began to talk. Menus were placed on the table. He scanned the prices with sinking heart. The cheapest item cost more than what he could afford, so he ordered only a cup of coffee. He smiled politely, pretending he wasn't hungry. His date ordered a meal and spoke openly about her life. He listened with full attention, nodding, asking questions, showing genuine interest. He gave her his focus, even while hiding his own quiet struggle. From her corner, the single mother and CEO observed. She saw him set the menu aside. She noticed he stuck to coffee. She saw the nervousness in his posture, yet also the respect he showed his date. There was something dignified in how he carried himself. When his date stepped away to take a phone call, the woman made a choice. She rose from her table and walked over. She introduced herself and sat for a moment. She told him she had been watching quietly. She said she admired how he treated the woman in front of him, even while clearly struggling. Then she revealed something personal. She too understood struggle. She was raising children on her own while running a business. She respected the way he showed up despite having so little. Finally, she made an offer. She wanted to cover the cost of his date's meal. Not out of pity, but out of recognition. Recognition of effort, of dignity, of quiet strength. At first, he resisted. He was uncomfortable accepting help. But she reassured him. Sometimes life allows one person to lift another, even for a small moment. This was one of those moments. Before returning to her table, she left him with a note. On it she wrote, "Never be ashamed of where you are. Keep going. People see more than you think." When his date returned, nothing was mentioned. The evening continued as if nothing had changed. He paid for his coffee with his $5. The rest of the bill had already been taken care of. His date never knew the full story. This moment matters because it reveals truths often overlooked. It shows the quiet courage of showing up, even when circumstances are hard. It shows the impact of empathy from someone willing to notice and act. And it reminds us that dignity is not defined by money, but by how we treat others. The man could have stayed home. He could have canceled the date to avoid embarrassment, but he chose to try. That choice revealed his strength. The woman could have ignored what she saw. She could have kept to herself. But she chose to act with compassion. Her position gave her the power to help. She used it not to judge, but to encourage. Worth is often measured by wealth or status, but this story challenges that idea. True worth is found in patience, respect, and character. The man's $5 did not define him. His dignity did. Everyday life is filled with unseen moments like this. We pass strangers in restaurants, on buses, in offices. We do not know their stories, but sometimes, through a single action, we can change how someone sees themselves. The man left the diner that night with more than encouragement. He left with a reminder that people do notice effort, even when it feels invisible. The CEO returned to her table reminded of something too. That leadership is not only about companies or profits. It is also about humanity, about the courage to step in quietly and lift someone else. This story is not about money. It is about choice. The choice to show up, the choice to act with compassion, the choice to recognize dignity in others, even when they have little to offer in material terms. Our value is not what sits in our wallet. It is how we carry ourselves, how we treat those around us, and how we continue forward even in moments of struggle. Sometimes all it takes is $5, a blind date, and the kindness of a stranger at the next table to remind us of that truth.